Hey guys, welcome back to Small Talk, small conversations with huge impact. My name is Alec Cuenca, and before anything else, I would like to thank each and every one of you. If you've listened to this series that we're concluding today, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Like this was delayed, but still, you guys are here. I can see the numbers. I can see the people who are listening. I can't see them, but I can see that a lot of you are enjoying this series, and I really, really thank you. I am grateful for each and every one of you. And if you've reached this point, then you probably have all the things that you need for you to become successful. You just need to apply it. Right? And so for this episode, we're going to talk something a little bit more about the spiritual aspect. I'm going to just put this one to ensure that we can actually live the way that we want to live. We'll just clarify some things, all right? But essentially, if you've listened to 1 to 13, everything that you need to do, that you need to know, if you want to become successful, you know it. You just need to apply it, okay? Okay, but before that, again, I just want to thank you. If you're listening on Apple Podcast, then maraming salamat. I thank you so much. If you are listening on Apple Podcast, but before that, if you're listening on Apple Podcast, then I hope that you leave this podcast a rating and review so that it helps the podcast reach more and more people organically. And it will only take 5 minutes of your time. So if you have, please leave a rating and review. I love reading all your responses, all your reviews. For example, here, JB Camilo said, "Wow, I downloaded all your success stories or success series to listen to. I'm now on episode 5. I am on episode 5 already on my first day of listening to your podcast. Your perspective about things are so refreshing." Thank you so much for that review. Actually, I was also refreshed in researching, in practicing, in trying to put things into perspective on what are the aspects about success that really, really matters. And I'm really proud of the work that I've done, and I really appreciate each and every one of you who are appreciating this series as well. So thank you so much. Again, if you're an Apple Podcast, please leave this podcast a rating and review. Okay, so for today's episode, we are going to talk about purpose. And before we talk about purpose, I want to ask you a question. Why are you doing this? Like, why do you want to become successful? Why are you doing the things that you're doing? And please pause this podcast for a little while, and I want you to ask yourself that question. And I want you to be brutally honest with yourself on why you want to do the things that you're doing, why you do the things that you're doing, why you want to be successful. Go on, pause it. You can come back to this episode if you already know the answer. Okay, done. So welcome back again. If you've resumed this episode, then I can assume that you already know why you're doing the things you're doing and why do you want to become successful. And a lot of us, have the same reason why we want to be successful. Essentially, it goes down to 2 things. Number 1 is we want to be happy. It can be in a very different wording or phrasing, but I can attest that your root cause of why you want to become successful is you want to become happy. Or you want to become fulfilled. You're looking for that fulfillment that you can actually say, "Nah, I'm ready to die. I'm fulfilled. My life's good." We're all leaning towards those 2 reasons why we are doing the things that we are doing, why we want to be successful. But as I was reading the book from Jay Shetty's new book, I learned that there are actually 4 reasons or 4 motivations for success. There's actually 4 motivations why people do the things that they're doing. And I want to talk about that a little bit. And so you can identify yourself a little bit clearer, and you can try to figure out if that is actually beneficial for the long run, or you can try to change your motivation why you want to become successful. Because one thing that I can assure you, if you follow the 13 rules that we've discussed, you will become successful. Like, no doubt. If you do it on a daily basis, all the mindset, all the things and concepts that I've told you, you will become successful. But if you're doing the things for the wrong reasons, for the wrong intentions, it's not going to be worth it. You're going to feel empty. At the end of the day, if you've done all the 13 rules that we've talked about, you will still feel empty. Which is why we need to be clear about why we are doing this. And if your answer is if you want to become happy, then maybe we need to understand that happiness does not require success. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later on, but first we're going to talk about 4 different motivations why people want to become successful, why people do the things that they're doing, right? So number 1 is that people do things out of fear. They're scared. Like, they're scared that they might go poor. So they do their best to save money. They're so scared to live their childhood again. That's why they're doing their best to make decisions that are not like their previous childhood. They're doing fear, but they do want to become successful because they're scared that their boyfriend, their girlfriend will leave them if they don't. They do the things that they are doing because they are scared of something. And that fear is dangerous. Fear might be useful because fear alerts us of problems that we need to avoid, that we need to solve. But fear can be paralyzing. If we hold on to it for a long time, there will be days that we won't have the strength to solve it. And sometimes the fear paralyzes us and makes us not do the things that we want to do. So if you're doing things out of fear, it can help you in the short term, but it's not sustainable. I assure you, if you're doing things because you're scared, you might accomplish a few things, but it's not sustainable. So that's the first thing. People do things out of fear. The second motivation for success is people want to become successful because of their desires. When we ask people, what does success look like to you? They'll write up a goal with a house, with a wife, with a beautiful house, with lots of money. But most of the things that we write come from our desires. But our desires are things that gives us external gratification. Is it bad, Alec? No. You can be successful. If you are motivated by fear, I can tell you, you will become successful. If you are motivated by desire, I can tell you, you can still be successful. But I'm thinking about the end game. Because if you become successful and you're not happy or you're not fulfilled with your life, what's the point of success? We think that we want to be successful, but deep inside, the only thing that we want to have or we want to be is to be happy and to be fulfilled. And if we do things because of our desires, because of the things that we want, because we want a sports car, because we want a house, because we want to live abroad, because we want to buy Gucci, Louis Vuitton, and all of these expensive stuff, we'll always be needing to fulfill our desires. And so in that aspect, our hunt for success will never stop. If we leave our peace to things that are material, to material things that can come from external gratification, we will be left with wanting more, with needing to have more. I can remember a quote from Jim Carrey. He says that I think everybody should get rich and famous and do everything that they've dreamed of so that they can see that it's not the answer. And if we really ask ourselves, why are we doing this? If our answer is to become successful, then okay, you can do that. But if your answer is to become happy and fulfilled, then doing things out of desire will not help you at the end. Again, we're trying to figure out ways that if you one day become successful, and if you follow the 13 rules that we've talked, I can assure you will become successful. But I don't want you to be at the end questioning everything about life. And we can see that from a lot of famous and rich people, that they still have depression, that they still have, they're still not happy with their lives. They are lobbied and clouded with different marital trivial problems, and they're really confused with what they really want in life, even though they have all the money, the sports car, the girls, the drugs, everything that they ever wanted. They have it because people who experience those stuff are motivated to become successful out of their desires. And if you do that, you might end up the same. So that's the second motivation for success. Do it. They want to be successful out of desires. The third motivation for success is duty. They are motivated by gratitude, by responsibility. They feel that they are responsible for other people. That's why they need to become successful, because they know that they have the responsibility and the desire to do the right thing in their lives. They want to help people. They want to serve other people. That's why they want to become successful. And I've talked about in the service episode that there are two kinds of people. There are the givers and there are the takers. There are the givers and there are the takers. And we can always see at the end that the people who become happy and fulfilled are the givers, not the takers. So if you want to become successful because you want to help other people, then I can tell you that you can be fulfilled. Because as I've said in the previous episode, that fulfillment, if we want to feel good about ourselves, we need to do good to other people. That's the most absolute and purest form of fulfillment. There's just this feeling, or there's just this moment that you are really genuinely happy when you know that you can provide happiness for other people. And that comes if you are motivated to do the things because of your duty. That's why we can see Mother Teresa. That's why we can see Mahatma Gandhi. They have the duty to spread how people can be fulfilled. People can live a happy life. And they want to become quote-unquote successful in their own terms because they have the duty to help other people. And we can also see that from a lot of entrepreneurs. There are a lot of entrepreneurs that are putting their asses out because not only because they want to be rich, but they know that they can provide a lot of value for this world and for the people who are living in this world, and for the next generation and the next generation that can possibly live here. So that's the third motivation for success. They do things, they want to become successful because of their duty, because they want to serve other people. And the last motivation for success is love. They are compelled by care for others and the urge to help them. and you can hear the rain falling on the rooftop. But if you are motivated by duty, actually love and duty, it's actually similar. Like they're both out of love. So let's try to put it this way. If you are motivated by duty, I can assume that you're motivated by love because you care for other people. And if you're motivated by love, then I can also say that you're motivated by duty. Those things come hand in hand. And we can always see this. For example, a lot of people in relationships, and this includes me, I feel like I need to be the best version of myself every single time because I want to help other people. I love my brothers, and and the thing is, I'm actually scared that we might not have anything to eat. We might not be success. I might not have I might repeat the childhood that I have, and I also have desires. I want to have sports cars. No, I don't want sports cars. I want to have a nice house. I want to be financially free, and all of those stuffs are from desires. But the thing is, you need to balance it out. You need to be more motivated by your love and your duty to the whole world than you being motivated by your desires and your fear. Because, again, at the end, if you want to become happy and fulfilled, that's the only way we can get there. Like, if we're doing this because just out of fear and desires, we'll feel empty at the end. And I don't want you to feel that. So it's okay if you have fears. It's okay if you have desires. But please, ask yourself a deeper why. Make it bigger than yourself. Make it out of duty and desire. Make it out of love. Make it out of duty. Make it out of duty. Make it out of love. Love has always been the strongest force in this world. There's nothing that love can't conquer. So if you are in love with something, you love yourself, you love the people around you, and you need to serve yourself. You need to serve the people around you. Trust me, you will get what you want. You will get what you want, and you will become fulfilled and happy. So those are the four things, right? You don't need to be. So those are the four things. So those are the four motivations for success: fear, desire, duty, and love. And please, if you are doing the things because of fear, try to reframe it out of love, so it can become sustainable. If you're doing things out of desire, then try to reframe it as your duty to serve other people. Because if you have more, then you can give more. Right? So it's not bad. Don't try to hate yourself if you have those other motivations, but try to reframe it in a way that will help yourself become more happy and more fulfilled. So those are 4 reasons. And a lot of us are actually thinking that, and a few, final words before we actually end this series. Like, the things that I've discussed with you are practical tools, techniques, and tips that can help you become success in whatever success you picture. Like, whatever your definition of success is, you can become successful just by following the 13 rules. But I want you to understand that it's much more bigger than that. I want to remind you that success does not guarantee happiness. You will become successful, as I've said. But if you're doing this just for yourself, you won't become happy. The only way that you can become happy is you do things because of your purpose. And that's essentially what I want you to ask. The final question that I will leave with you for this series is, what is your purpose? And your purpose is something that you are passionate about. It's your passion plus it's your service. Your purpose is your passion plus service. So I want you to think of a way that you include service into the things that you're passionate about. And that's your purpose. If you do things in the service of others, your life will be so much more meaningful. Your passion is for you, and your passion is for others as well. Your passion can become your purpose when you use it to serve other people. And your purpose is essentially why you are here in this world. I really believe that every single one of us has a particular purpose. That's why the universe made us. That's why we are put in this specific situation, because for a reason. We are alive for a very specific reason in this world. And that's for our purpose. And I want you to figure out what's your purpose. Because if you figure out what's your purpose, then then you don't need to chase success anymore. Success will chase you if you know your purpose. So let this podcast episode become a reminder that you can achieve any richness, any success that you dreamed of. But if you do things for the wrong reasons, it's not going to be worth it. So please, become successful. Not just for yourself, but for the people around you. And trust me, it's also for yourself if you do it for other people. Figure out your purpose, and that's the only way that you can be truly, genuinely successful. So that's what I have for you today. I hope that you enjoyed this series, and don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna regularly upload more episodes, but I have been receiving a lot of love topics requests, and I have been receiving a lot of topic questions about love, and I will talk about that a little bit more. And I'll also talk about different stuff, not just about success, but also about stillness and peace. And I will still upload every single day, probably 2 times a week, because I know I really enjoy doing the podcast, and this is the most raw and extensive thing that I've been doing. And it's not like I'm ending the podcast, but I am ending the series right here. So if you've come to this point, then thank you so much. And lumalakas na rin yung ulan, so I gotta end this right now. Thank you so much for joining me through 14 episodes. I will never ever forget this. So thank you so much. If you like this episode, please do not forget to share this on your Instagram or your Twitter or your Facebook. Do not forget to tag me at Small Talk Podcast, and I will repost it. And hopefully, we can connect in some way. You can talk about how this can actually impact your life. I really love reading your messages. So thank you so much for the people who shares this podcast on their IG story. And yeah, again, if you're on Apple Podcasts, do not forget to leave this podcast a rating and review so that it can reach more and more people in the podcast world. Okay? So again, maraming salamat. Thank you so much. And I will talk to you guys next episode. I hope you guys have a great night, have a great week, have a great month ahead of you. Talk to you next episode. Bye-bye.